I'm Nick Dark, creator of Innate. Meditation is innate. It is a natural biological process designed to help you remember who you are. Today, I'm just going to talk about this idea or this divide between science and spiritual. This question of what's real. Because straight up, I'm just going to say that it's all the same. And there's no distinction between any of it. It's all one thing. And actually, if you want to come from the science angle first, that's now being proven through quantum physics. Hopefully you understand and recognize that everything is energy. Even matter is energy. It's just all vibrating at a different frequency. And depending on what frequency it vibrates, it's at different densities. And so this question of science versus spirit or what's real really just comes down to our perception of things. And let's just start by maybe where the status quo is or where the divide is. The idea that what's spiritual is probably unseen. So in terms of perception, it's not readily perceivable, right, for us to comprehend. Spiritual, it might be things associated with, at the most simple level, like just a complete love and connection to a humanity. It might be this sense of like an all-pervading energy or creative force, whether you call that God or energy or love or source. And it could be also this idea of maybe other entity, like spiritual beings, or just the energy that moves and we can't necessarily sort of touch or readily initially perceive, right? Maybe that sort of encompasses this idea of spiritual. It can be packaged as different things like religions and things and have different sort of structures and names wrapped around it, but that's kind of the rough idea, right? And then science becomes this very logical, measurable, concrete thing so that we can perceive, right? So that we understand and are able to sort of touch, taste, smell in this world, what we think is proven through science. So if we think about the ends of the spectrum of perception, hopefully then that gives us a platform with which to play with these concepts. And science is really that, well, I don't believe it until it's proven. Like, I need some scientific proof to show me what it is. And basically science is people, and any of us can do this. I don't seek to take away from the hours and the depth of understanding and love and intelligence that goes into or has gone into what we considered science to date. But it is basically people messing around with stuff and trying to figure stuff out and agree with each other about what they think it is or how it works, using a bunch of measurements that they've brought to the table for that thing, right? And so then when those people have said that, then do we take it as fact or truth or we believe it? But we've not even necessarily perceived it ourselves. But we can perceive what we're told about how it works, and then we might be able to apply it to something and kind of make sense of it. And so what I'm saying about this all being the same thing is that over time, science changes because we learn to perceive, we start to perceive more information. Our depth of understanding expands, right? So maybe a long time ago, we couldn't perceive, we couldn't see at the cellular level. And therefore we didn't really understand or believe or think was real, that we were made up of millions and billions of different organisms, that actually we're a relationship. We are a collection of different bacteria and cells and all sorts of things. But now we do, and we take that as fact and we understand it. And so science changes based on the ability of what we're able to continue to perceive. The more we perceive, the more we understand it, and the more we bring it in as science and truth and fact. And so your ability to discern what's real depends on your ability to perceive, which is why meditation practice comes in so handy. because it develops your ability to perceive. It develops your depth of perception and takes you beyond the 5 senses that we sort of have learned at school in science that are our core abilities to perceive, to our sense perception. There are loads more than 5. And the more you meditate, the more you expand your perception, the more you're able to pick up on, just at a basic level, even just subtle cues and nuances of any situation at a very tangible, bog standard level. But then we can start to expand that so that our perception goes way, way deeper, and we can start to tune into and perceive energy. And we can start to tune in and perceive things that we would never have believed before. And so this is what is going to really expand through a meditation practice and enable us maybe to get rid of this idea of spiritual and science and actually just tune into what you perceive to be real, so that you actually trust your perception, your ability to feel, take in, sense, perceive, and process and understand based on your tangible experience. So you can expand what your tangible experience is through a steady meditation practice. And just making one more point. So you can take, like, a really simple example could be the difference between what humans perceive and what cats perceive. So cats can see things that we can't see. Dogs can hear things that we can't hear. And that doesn't mean it's not there. And so I'm not necessarily saying that you're going to start to hear what dogs hear, but I'm just saying that a meditation practice opens you up to explore in wonder what else there is and connect with those things. As much as you want to, as much as you develop your perception to be able to do so. And these are natural capabilities that you have within you. They're totally innate. It's just whether you choose to tap into them. You know, we all can be tuned differently to have different skills around different sense perceptions. It can even be called extrasensory perception, ESP. Or some people even, you know, there are things like clairvoyance or claircognizance, and it's really just people's ability to be able to perceive energy, waves. I go right back to the beginning. Everything is energy, and that moves in vibration and waves. And so that's really all it is. It is all a reality. It's just what you perceive. So I hope that's a fun little exploration. Maybe it gets you questioning, but just have fun with it. Why not? That's what meditation should be too. That's it. Meditation is innate. It is a natural biological process designed to help you remember who you are. Energy.